Hey my friend, welcome to this video here where we're going to be talking about protein and how the wool has been pulled over your eyes about protein. You have been lied to and tricked and deceived about the role that protein plays in your diet. It has been way overemphasized due to propaganda, billions of dollars worth of marketing efforts by meat, dairy, egg, and even pharmaceutical industries have invested billions of dollars to make sure that you are 100% convinced, along with everyone you know, along with the literal curriculums in academia, the literal scientists, making sure that you are 100% convinced and in the dark about how much protein a human being actually needs to live a healthy, energetic, strong, vibrant lifestyle. This is something that is not talked about very much. It's an extremely controversial topic. So regardless of what your opinion is on this subject, I recommend hearing me out because this is a very powerful thing that can actually prevent a lot of chronic illness in the future. A lot of people are very, very sick. Their livers are overloaded with fat. Their bodies are clogged with all sorts of chemicals and toxins. And they're eating way too much fat in their diet. And this leads to all sorts of chronic illnesses like skin problems, eczema, psoriasis, bone problems, arthritis, inflammation, digestion issues, lowered immune system, and all of this stuff. So where is this information coming from? Who am I and how am I bringing you this information? Hi, my name's Adam. I do a lot of research, like full-time research into all sorts of different personal development related topics, spirituality, this kind of stuff. Diet is one topic that I've studied a lot in my life. And I've also suffered from chronic illness like eczema on my hands, cracking, cutting, causing me all sorts of pain, itching. I've suffered from chronic sore throat, strep nose, chronic allergies, mucus, ear infections, this kind of stuff. Just dealing with chronic illness, just like hundreds of millions of people are today. If you're watching this video, the odds are you have some kind of chronic illness symptom because that's just the society that we live in for reasons that I've spoken about in other videos and I'll talk about a little bit today. So throughout my explorations, I discovered a very advanced and powerful source of diet information called the medical medium. So this guy, Anthony William, when he was 4 years old, this was like 50 years ago, 60 years ago actually, he's like 64 now. When he was 4 years old, he heard a voice that was clear as day that was telling him why the people around him were sick. He knew that his grandmother had cancer before the doctors even knew. And he knew how to heal her. He was getting information from what identified itself as the spirit of compassion. He told her to drink celery juice when he was 4 years old. And this actually ended up healing her. And so this is a power that he has that he's been using ever since he was 4. When he was 14, he opened up his own practice. And since then, he's been seeing literally tens of thousands of people with chronic illness. And he gets high quality channeled diet information that explains specifically why they're sick in lots of detail and how they can heal. All right? So this is amazing because the truth is our current scientific establishment is totally, our medical system is totally in the dark when it comes to understanding the root causes of 99% of chronic illnesses like eczema, like, and many of the other ones that I mentioned, like gastrointestinal problems, acid reflux, spooky chronic weight gain, thyroid problems, autoimmune disorders, diabetes, even ADHD, OCD, autism, even many cancers. I don't know if you've noticed this, but our medical establishment has zero explanations about specifically what is causing these things. If you've ever had a chronic illness like eczema, for example, you go to the doctor, they don't know what's going on with you. They don't know why you're sick, they just give you a cream. If you have ADHD, they don't know why you have ADHD. It's very speculative. There's a lot of estimation going, oh, maybe it's an environmental thing. Maybe you were born with it. Maybe it's your genetics. It's a lot of guesswork. And then even though they don't know, they still will prescribe you a $100 bottle of pills that will make it better. And what these pills do, I understand the pills, for some people who have extreme chronic illness, they help. They can soothe a terrible problem, I get it. But that's all they will do, is they will soothe, they will allow you to get through the day, but they won't heal the root cause that Anthony Williams speaks about in great detail in his books, with information that is 100 years ahead of current medical science. And his practices are extremely effective. They've worked for me to heal my eczema, to heal my chronic mucus and allergies. I've been following his diets to the T, drinking celery juice in the morning, eating lots of fruits, lots of vegetables, lots of healthy carbohydrates that come from the earth. Pure, raw, like not always raw, sometimes cooked, but just like actual foods, whole foods. I've been eating a lot of his diet to the T, and it's completely transformed my life, my energy system. My muscles have been getting more cut. I've been feeling strong. I've had a lot of energy to work out. I've been gaining muscle and losing fat. And my brain's been working very clear. My stomach never hurts, ever. I never get stomach aches, ever, because of the way I eat. Everything digests perfectly, and I feel like $1,000,000. So this is not just me. There are literally millions, I'm not exaggerating, there's millions of people that are using Anthony Williams protocols to heal chronic illnesses that they've been to 20 doctors, and they've taken every single pharmaceutical under the sun. That doesn't work because they don't have understanding of what is causing the chronic illness. Okay? So there's a lot of speculation, there's a lot of guesswork. If I want you to actually read Anthony Williams' books, and we're going to talk about his information, but I want you to understand that if you actually read his actual information and you don't just like dismiss it before you even like open your mind to it, you need to actually buy a book and read the whole thing and then apply the principle and the practices to see if it works. This will change your life. This is how you actually know what's true in reality. You can't prejudge things. You need to actually open your mind to it, read it, understand it. There's a lot to understand. He wrote 7 books. There's like thousands of pages of information. He's done tons of podcasts. He's been doing work for 50 years. He's literally channeling an extremely intelligent source that is giving detailed information about why you are sick and what's wrong with your diet and how to make it better. Okay, way ahead of the times. All right, so one of the things that Anthony Williams talks about a lot is explaining to you that the reason why your body is not healthy, which is why you have chronic illness symptoms, which is why you're tired all the time, which is why you can't think straight, which is why you have ADHD, which is why you have asthma, which is why you can't breathe properly, why you have constant mucus and phlegm, why you have random acne and eczema, etc. The reason why your stomach hurts and you always have indigestion. The reason why is because, number one, your body has been bioaccumulating man-made chemicals for over 200 years. And you might say, well, Adam, I'm not 200 years old. Yeah, but these man-made chemicals, like exhaust fumes from cars and jets that contain toxic heavy metals like mercury, arsenic, lead, and copper, nickel, aluminum, runoff from pesticides like DDT, which is still in our atmosphere even though it was sprayed 70 years ago. It doesn't go anywhere. It stays in the water. It stays in the air. All sorts of fake chemical fragrances, deodorants, scented candles, scented hand wash, perfumes, colognes. These are highly toxic. Highly toxic. There's a jet flying over me right now, putting exhaust fumes into the air, the atmosphere. That's going to rain down onto the crops. So there's metals, chemicals, there's pesticides. You've been bioaccumulating this in your organs, and your mom has been bioaccumulating this. Your mom's mom, your mom's mom's mom, your great-grandmother. Since the Industrial Revolution, we've been pummeling our environment with all sorts of toxic chemicals. Even before that, even thousands of years, even the Romans, they used lead and mercury. This stuff can get passed down, trace amounts gets passed down the lineages, which is why people like me are born with eczema, or they're born with ADD, or they're born with autism, or they're born with mineral deficiencies, or thyroid problems, or autoimmune disorders, or all of this kind of stuff. It gives the illusion that it's a genetic thing. But I need you to understand very clearly that human beings don't just get born with birth defects like all the time. This is something that, like, it's becoming more and more common. Kids are born with severe allergies. They're born with ADD. You know, if you you look around, everyone's got a problem nowadays. Everyone's got a mental health problem, a physical problem, allergies. Everyone's sick. This is not normal. This is not a genetic thing. It doesn't run in your family. The only thing that runs in your family is metals and chemicals that can actually get into you as you're developing as a fetus. It's in your mom. Do you understand? Your mom's eating like pizza and ice cream and stuff as she has you in her stomach. And it gets passed, this shit gets passed on to you. So there's toxic chemicals, okay? And then the second thing that makes you sick, I know this video is about protein, but trust me, you need to understand the context. The second thing that gets you sick is viruses, such as Epstein-Barr virus, strep, herpes, shingles, and hundreds of different varieties of these four. These viruses, they live in your body low-key, okay? They stay in you for years. You could have strep for 20 years. If you got strep when you were a kid, there's high chance it's still in you, okay? These viruses, their favorite food is chemicals and toxic heavy metals that are in your liver, in your brain, in your thyroid, in your intestines. The Epstein-Barr, the strep, the herpes eats this, and it also eats certain foods that are high in hormones, which we've been shown scientifically that eggs have extremely high amounts of hormones that feed viruses in the blood. We actually use egg yolks and egg whites to raise viruses in laboratories so that we can test them and do experiments on them to create vaccines and to study them and all this stuff. The viruses, they live in eggs, in egg yolk, egg white. Eggs feed viruses. Okay, you can look. There's a podcast below. I'll link that to learn more. Also, foods like dairy, foods like corn and wheat with gluten, foods like soy, and many other foods like that I've spoken about in other videos, like pork as well, for the high fat content, which we're going to get into. These foods can make these problems worse and exacerbate the problem. Okay? So this is very important to understand as well. So the chemicals make you sick. The virus activity in your body makes you sick. The viruses, when they eat the chemicals and they eat the hormones in the eggs that you're eating, and the dairy and the wheat, then, and the processed foods like processed sugar and this kind of stuff, then what happens is they excrete waste, which is toxic for your body. Now your liver and your immune system has to work extra hard to now not only clean all of these chemicals that have been in you since you were born, but now it also has to clean these toxins that are being excreted by viral activity. When a virus eats toxic mercury, and then when it excretes the mercury, it's even more toxic. It's neurotoxic for your brain, which is why you get brain fog when you eat foods that are high in canola oil, that are fried with wheat and MSG and eggs and this kind of stuff. That's why you get brain fog. No, not the omega-3s make your brain healthy. Yes, omega-3s are good for the brain, but not from eggs. All right, there's other ways to get omega-3s, like seeds and stuff, which we're going to talk about in a second. Okay? So what happens for most people when we're bodybuilding and we're trying to build muscle? This is something that I've done 8 years ago. Ever since I was in high school, I was going to the weight room once, sometimes twice a day. I would go work out. I was big into wrestling. I was big into rugby. I was like super into working out. And the conventional wisdom is that you need to be pounding protein in order to gain muscle. The more protein, the better. So I was having whey protein shakes. I was having eggs for breakfast. I was having chicken for lunch. I was having chicken for dinner. I was eating a lot of food, and I was making sure to have sardines as my snack, eating tons of nuts and nut butters, seed butters, just basically getting as much protein as I need, because I was told that the more protein I have, the more muscles I get. So I was eating tons of protein and I was gaining muscle. I was working out a ton and I was eating a bunch of calories, including lots of protein, and I was gaining muscle. So great. Yeah, and I did this for a long time until I was 18, 19, until I discovered the Anthony William advice. My stomach was hurting a lot. I had bad eczema. And Anthony William, what I learned from him was that actually you don't need as much protein as you think you do in order to bodybuild and build muscle. And this kind of like shocked me, because I was like, what? Every single scientific study is talking about protein synthesis. Every single personal trainer, every single bodybuilder is just like smashing protein all day and all night. So what do you mean you don't need protein to build muscle? This is like a reversal. This makes absolutely no sense to me, right? But since I'm someone who is very intuitive and I'm also very open-minded, Anthony William, the medical medium, is not just like any random Joe Schmo who's saying you don't need protein. He's literally channeling advanced diet information that is saving the lives of millions of people. And I agreed with a lot of the other things he was saying about the chemicals, the viruses. This stuff is not acknowledged by modern day medical science, and a lot of that is for corporate interest reasons. Pharmaceutical companies don't want you to know that you can heal yourself by drinking celery juice and by eating more fruits and more vegetables. And a big thing Anthony William talks about is just lowering the fats in your diet. So the thing with eating a high protein diet is that you're also eating a high fat diet, because most protein foods are all also extremely fatty. Think about nuts, eggs, meat, mostly fat. Even if you're eating lean meats, you're eating a lot of fat. Even if you're having protein isolate, still throughout the day you're eating a lot of fat. And what fat does is fat overloads your liver, because one of your liver's jobs is to actually process fat. It creates bile that actually breaks down fats. So a lot of the fat you eat actually gets sent right to the liver to be broken down. What happens for most people in our society who are on high fat diets like keto, which I've tried, eating fried sardines and butter all day, every day, no sugar at all, nothing, not even any fruit at all. I've done this before and I felt like shit. I felt like an actual human piece of shit. I felt like a sardine fried in butter. That's what I felt like. And it was horrendous. And yeah, trust me, you don't want to live like that. There's a better way, which we're going to talk about. So what happens is all this fat goes to the liver and it overloads the liver, and the fat gets clogged in there. Then you get a fatty liver. Then the liver gets overloaded and it becomes sluggish. Then the liver becomes overloaded, meaning that it can't perform all of its other jobs in the body, which Anthony Williams says the liver has over 500 jobs. Many of them are undiscovered by modern science. Many of them include running your immune system and fighting off these viruses like herpes, strep, Epstein-Barr. It's like a janitor for your body. Your liver cleans a lot of toxins and processes a lot of toxins from the air you breathe, the food you eat, the water you drink, etc. So when the liver becomes overloaded with fat, it can't do its other jobs, which is processing all kinds of toxins. Then your body has no choice but to come up with other ways to defend itself against all of these toxins. Some people get inflammation, swelling, water weight. Some people get tons of mucus in the nose, in the lungs, like I did. Some people get eczema, skin problems, because these chemicals, your body tries to purge them out of the skin. Okay, so many of us have overloaded livers, fatty livers, sluggish livers, and when we feel weak and we feel like we're getting sick, what do we do to most people who are sick and weak? They must need protein. They need more protein. Give them protein. Where's your protein? Are you getting enough protein? No, I can't eat that food. There's not enough protein in it. I need my protein. This is like a mind virus. It's in everyone's mind. And what Anthony William is saying is that it's actually not true. You don't actually need protein in the way that you think you do. You don't need these fatty meats, and he doesn't say you can't eat meat. He's just saying you don't need it in the way you think you do. You don't need the eggs. You don't need all these nuts or all of this beans and again, Anthony William actually says it's okay. You can have beans. You can have some meats, not pork and tuna. Those are counterproductive. But you can have some meats. You can have some nuts as well. So he's not saying don't have these ever. You can have avocado. Avocado is extremely good for you. But he's saying the paradigm, the way you understand protein is not the way it actually works in truth. And what does truth mean? This is a very interesting question. Truth is not what science says. This is very important you understand epistemologically. You can't equate science and truth. This is a deep subject that is difficult to get into in this video, but just because science says, that doesn't mean it's true, because throughout all of recorded scientific history, science has said things that have later been proven wrong. So if everything science says is always the truth, then why did everything ever get proven wrong in the past? Why has our science been getting updated and changed and reformed and revolutionized consistently over hundreds of years? Our science is in the dark right now, specifically about health and medicine. Yes, science is good at doing surgeries on people, open heart surgery, brain surgery, removing tumors, healing broken legs, this kind of stuff. Yeah, science can do that great. An awesome job for these gross things. But for these subtle things, like understanding the complex interconnections of how the most intelligent machine that we know, the human body is the most intelligent machine that exists. Do you know that we are not smart enough to know how it works yet? We're still in the dark. We don't know what's going on. We're still figuring it out. So Anthony William is literally channeling an intelligent source that is giving clear instructions to humans. How to be healthy. How to stop being sick all the time. Everyone's sick. Your mom is sick. Your dad is sick. They're unhealthy. Their brain doesn't work. Their body doesn't work. They're fat. Even if they're healthy, they still have these chronic issues. They don't know how to solve them. It's because science is not, it's not even right now science interest to make humans healthy. This is something I want you to actually open your mind to, the possibility that a lot of the scientific paradigm and the medical establishment, it's not its job to make you healthy. It's not like there's like compassionate, selfless, altruistic actors that really care about making all of humanity healthy. I'm sure that's like maybe 2%, but most of this entire bureaucratic establishment, which is very complex, and I know I'm speaking in generalities, but you need to understand the entire system of doing science, of doing studies, nutrition in university. This is a highly bureaucratic system. It's not up to one individual. It's corrupted by tons of corporate interest. There's selfish interest, selfish, manipulative, slimy, scheming interest that doesn't care about human health. It cares about making a buck. I've made hour-long videos in the past talking about and giving evidence for how meat, dairy, and egg industries lobby the universities and the government to make the education and the nutrition guidelines skew in a certain direction in their interest. And pharmaceutical companies do the same. I've made 2 videos about each of those subjects. So you need to understand that your entire paradigm, the whole nutritional paradigm about protein and how much you need, is skewed in the favor and the interest of meat, dairy, and egg industries and in pharmaceutical industries, keeping you sick. Okay, so I've spoken a lot about that in the other video, why nutrition information is full of shit. So you need to understand that our science right now is behind the curve. It's not cutting edge. Anthony Williams' information, the medical, who's channeling the spirit of compassion, that's the most cutting edge information we have on earth right now. And I know this because I checked. I look and I see and I feel it in my body. I know the depth of truth. There is no perspective right now on earth that is as holistic and integrated and compassionate and truthful and effective than Anthony Williams Medical Medium health information right now on earth. I'll die on this hill. This is how it works. And you might say, Adam, you're being ideological. And actually, I'm not. Actually, I had to change my mind. I had to change my mind dozens of times. I've done dozens of diets. I've done paleo. I've done vegan. I've done keto. I've done combinations of all of these. I've tried, experimented with all kinds of different foods. So, and I was also part of the mainstream paradigm of protein. I understand. I had to change my mind a lot. So it's not that I'm being arrogant. Actually, this is me being humble for so long that I just didn't know what was going on, that I'm actually willing to now actually read the books that are at the most cutting edge, like Medical Medium Anthony William. Oh, is channeling a valid source of wisdom? Humble. I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe, I don't know. What if it is? So it's not Adam being arrogant, it's actually Adam being humble and not knowing so deeply and thoroughly that eventually you stumble upon a gold mine in this exploration. I'm searching for cutting edge wisdom to see what's the cutting edge of what is actually true in reality. This is my whole thing. This is what I'm all about. What's the most advanced information that we have available that's the most true and the most accurate right now? And always it's going to seem like blasphemy because by definition the cutting edge is going to be different than the current edge. It's not even an edge, it's just more like a blob. Okay? So you need to understand that when Einstein was proposing general relativity, he was met with vehement resistance because something that is so radical and so different than what is currently accepted, general and non-Euclidean geometry is so different than the Newtonian paradigm of Euclidean geometry. It was like night and day difference. Einstein was insulted, called an idiot, called a dirty Jew, because this is how science works. This is the process of scientific revolution. You can learn it for yourself if you read The History of Scientific Revolutions by Thomas Kuhn. And you actually study hundreds of diverse perspectives. You can see this for yourself if you care, if you're willing to study and learn and open your mind and be humble. So what Anthony William is saying is that everyone is getting enough protein, okay? If you're eating food, you're probably getting enough protein. And he says specifically, if you're eating Anthony Williams' diet, which is like lemon water, celery juice, lots of fruit smoothie, melons, apples, bananas, grapes, pears, tangerines, oranges, then you're eating leafy greens, arugula, spinach, Swiss chard, and potatoes, sweet potatoes, yams are sweet potatoes, squash, zucchini, mushrooms. If you're eating vegetables and fruits, these foods have healing powers because your body is evolved to eat these foods first and foremost. Now, yes, the human body can eat meat, but I'm saying on the more primary level, the human body's evolved to eat fruit and vegetables. And you need to understand that fruits and vegetables have protein in them. So when you eat them a lot, you get enough protein, okay? And we're going to talk about what actually builds muscle, because Anthony Williams says protein actually doesn't build muscle. And this sounds crazy because aren't the muscles made of proteins? Yes, but the body uses the glucose and the sugar from fruits specifically. I'm not talking about sugar from lollipops. I'm not talking about sugar from Mars bars and ice cream. I'm talking about sugar from fruits and vegetables. Your body uses this glucose and drives it into the muscle to make it able to work. This, we already know this. These carbohydrates make your muscles work. They make your brain work. Your brain runs on sugar. Your muscles run on sugar from fruit. That's why it's good to eat a lot of it. There's no such thing. There's not too much fruit, and we need to get into the evolutionary argument in a second. But number one, your muscles are grown on sugar. Number two, your muscles are grown on mineral salts, key mineral salts, most of which science doesn't even know exists yet. The mineral salts are in lettuce, they're in celery, they're in leafy greens, they're in zucchini, they're in fruits, okay? Sugars and mineral salts in these whole healthy foods. That's what grows your muscles. The third thing that grows your muscles is using your muscles. Okay? So when you use your muscles and you eat lots of fruits and vegetables, you get jacked. You get strong. You get healthy. You don't need to be mucking eggs and meat for the purpose of protein. That's not how it works. Your body has the ability to produce its own proteins in the same way that a gorilla just eats leaves all day. A gorilla has 96% the same DNA that a human does. I know gorillas are a different species, but they eat leaves all day and they are jacked, okay? Gorillas have massive muscle mass because their body transmits the leaves that they eat, and there's protein in the leaves. And it uses that. And the sugars and the mineral salts, that's what grows the muscles. Do you understand? If this information is true, okay? Let's just imagine this information is true, okay? What if this is true? Do you understand that the pharmaceutical industry, the meat industry, the dairy industry, and the egg industry, all of them are out of business? Billion-dollar industries, almost trillion-dollar industries if you put them all together, all out of business because it turns out the human body is evolved to eat mainly fruits and vegetables. What are the supporting arguments for this? Okay, so number one, your eyesight is evolved to see the color spectrum so you can see red apples or yellow bananas on trees from far away. You ever thought of that? Why are my eyes perfectly evolved to pick out fruits on trees from far away? Okay? Of course, it's evolved to do that. The fruit of the plant wants some kind of fruit-eating animal like an ape, some kind of like a monkey, some kind of maybe hominid like a human, to actually go climb the tree with its hands and thumbs and arms and legs, and actually reach out with its arms and grab with its thumbs to actually go grab the fruit off the tree, and then to take a bite with its teeth that are perfectly shaped, not to go hunt bison or wildebeest on the savannah. My teeth can't go kill a wildebeest. I don't have claws, but I have hands that grab fruits and bite apples. The teeth bite apples perfectly. Perfect shape. Look, that's what it's designed to. A dog can't bite apples. You need to like chew it up for them. Humans are frugivorous. We're not frugivorous, meaning that we only eat fruit, but we're evolved to eat fruit. Then, when you're chewing the apple, it tastes amazing. Wow, this is so sweet. The sugar tastes good to me because evolution decided that if something is good for the animal, we'll make the animal taste it like it. We'll make it taste good for the animal. So it tastes good because you're supposed to eat it. It grows off the trees, and it's good for the tree as well, because then you take 20, 30, 40 apples. Let's say you're walking with your band, your tribe. You're walking, you haven't had water in hours, there's been no rivers around. I want you to imagine, like, I'm not even talking about just Homo sapiens. I'm even talking about Homo erectus, Homo habilis, like our pre-ancestors. Like, I'm talking like 500,000 years ago, before we even could make tools to go hunt animals. Think about the basic, like the primordial thing you're supposed to be eating. It's literally the fruits, because even if you're thirsty, if you haven't invented some kind of carrying pouch to go scoop up the water, and I've been walking for hours and it's hot and I'm hungry, my brain needs sugar, my body needs sugar, and I'm thirsty at the same time, it's almost like a fruit. And let's say I walk by a fruit tree and there's 300 apples on there and I'm with 10 people. All of us are going to eat all the apples on that tree. And that's going to be our lunch, our dinner that day. It's going to be 300 apples. We're not going to think, oh, but doesn't fruit rot your teeth? No. Anthony William has a whole hour-long podcast explaining that fruit absolutely on no planet or dimension or galaxy rots your teeth. Actually, fruit is antibacterial. It actually kills bacteria in your teeth. It actually makes your teeth healthier. I had tons of cavities. So if your teeth are broken, if you have cavities and they hurt, that's not fruit's fault. That's a reflection of your diet 3 years ago. So if you were eating high fats, lots of eggs and meat and dairy and shit 3 years ago, that's your teeth today. This is because when the fats overload the liver and they clog up the liver, then as you're sleeping at night and the liver's trying to do its work, it produces this ammonia gas, this highly toxic gas that comes up your esophagus, and it actually stays in your mouth for 8 hours as you're sleeping. This is what rots your gums and your teeth. This is why your breath smells like shit when you wake up in the morning, because of this gas that's overloading the liver. That's what rots your teeth, not the fruit. The lemon, the orange, that doesn't rot. Think about evolutionarily. Why would the only food that's good, the main food that's good for me, the fruit off the trees, that my ancestors have been eating for 500,000 years, maybe longer, probably longer actually, why would my teeth have evolved to rot if I eat that? So a lot of people are out there nowadays just like shitting in the pool of information, muddying the waters with all kinds of misinformation, saying that vegetables and fruit are toxic for the body and that the body doesn't want, but instead the body, all it wants is just meat. Just eat meat all day, every day, 5 steaks a day, and you'll be healthy. Think about the logic there, the logic. So what you're telling me is that the food that my brain runs on, sugar, and that my organs run on, and that has all of these complex vitamins, micronutrients, watery juice that is so hydrating for all of my cells and tissues, you're telling me that's poison for me. And that I shouldn't eat that, and that's going to rot my teeth, and it's going to make me fat. People think if they eat high glycemic fruits, this is what I thought too. Guys, trust me, I studied. I know this stuff. When I was doing paleo, I thought I shouldn't eat high glycemic fruits like watermelon or grapes because there's too much sugar in them. See, this is an autistic perspective that is so reductionistic, so materialistic, literally just counting the grams of sugar, not understanding the intricacy of nature, that the actual liquid and the water in the fruits is intelligently designed to be so motherfucking good for your entire body. It's not even funny. Grapes. Why would you not eat grapes? Because there's a lot of sugar. That doesn't even make sense. That doesn't make sense. Okay? Think about, like, if you're just like a human being that didn't listen to random Instagram posts and random science, fake science. Imagine you didn't listen to fake science and you're just a regular human being and there's some grapes over there. Are you gonna eat them? Yeah. They're fucking sweet and juicy and tasty. Of course I'm gonna have grapes. I'm gonna have like 500. I don't care. It doesn't matter how many grapes I have, because they're literally good for me. I like the way they make me feel. After I'm done the grapes, I'm gonna have a lot of energy. I'm gonna have a lot of energy to live. I can live my life. I can go work out. I can go lift big rocks. I can do things. I can make hour-long videos. I can think, I can do whatever I want because my body, my muscles, my brain, it runs on the sugar. Okay? I don't need to fry eggs to give me energy. I eat more fruit, more vegetables. That's what makes your body healthy and clean. Do you understand? So let's do an experiment, okay? Let's do an experiment. If you're a bodybuilder, you're lifting weights, let's do the actual experiment. Let's make the rubber meet the road. I recommend that you follow Anthony Williams' diet protocol, which I've outlined in other videos, and you eat massive amounts of fruit for breakfast after your celery juice, and then you eat tons of vegetables for dinner, salads, steamed potatoes, steamed zucchini, squash, this kind of stuff. Sorry, there's someone in the little valley there on an ATV. Let's do that for, let's try 30 days, maybe 60 days. And you actually have to do it. You can't say, oh, Adam, I don't like that. Oh, it's too much work. I gotta like juice the celery. I gotta like, change my habits. I gotta like learn new information. I gotta actually read like a couple books. I gotta actually like be healthy, and I gotta like actually eat healthy food. I don't want to do that. I just want to keep eating my fried eggs and my tons of steak with every meal. So all I'm saying is, let's do the trial together. I've been doing it for about 30 days. I've been losing fat, okay? I've actually been getting more cut, and I feel pumped and jacked. I've been working out. Basically, the first week or two, I didn't want to work out that much, so I worked out less for the first week or two. But then, as my body got used to the diet, then I've now been working out more. And I've been doing my pull-ups and push-ups and squats and burpees and all of this, and I've been actually getting more muscle from eating fruits and vegetables and relying on the protein that's in there, and also remembering that protein doesn't build muscle. All right? So I'm coming to you right now from the future. Okay, so this is diet information that's 100 years ahead of its time. This is what Anthony William is bringing to us, is channeling for us, people who are sick, who want to be strong and healthy, and who want to live to 120, 130 years old, who want their organs to function properly. You need to stop pounding your liver with high-fat foods that are also high-protein foods, realizing you don't need that much protein. You get enough from the fruits and the vegetables. Stop counting your protein. Just stop. Just drop it like this. Just drop it. This is an intuition that I had before I even read Anthony William. I just had this intuition. What if I just eat healthy food? And I don't need that much protein. I just eat lots of veggies and just trust I'll make gains. Try it out. Okay? And yeah, this is the healthiest diet on earth. It's actually not close. It's not an argument even, actually. This is how it works. And okay, if you want to argue, that's fine. There's 7 books about thousands of pages that you have to read before you come argue, because you can't argue a perspective that you haven't even tried, you haven't even read, you haven't even listened to. So you got a lot of work to do if you want to debate, because Anthony Williams' diet advice is comprehensive. It covers all the objections. It covers all the rebuttals. I would have to stand here and talk for 5 hours just to give you an introduction to all of the information that he's brought to earth. So you have some reading to do before you say, "Oh, Adam, are you sure about this whole protein thing? What about the science that I already went into painstaking detail to describe why the science is behind the curve? The science is paid off. It's not compassionate science. It's biased science." What about protein synthesis? What if, I just have a what if question. I don't know if this is actually true, but what if, maybe, what if your body can actually use the sugars and the mineral salts to make enough protein to synthesize your protein? Isn't that what your cells do? Your cells are like protein machines. The DNA tells the cells how to make its parts, its organelles out of proteins. Your cells run on sugar. They run on glucose. That's the energy source. Protein isn't the energy source. And there's enough proteins in fruits and vegetables, all right? So if you want more reading to do, you can look at Anthony Williams' book, Cleanse to Heal. You can also listen to Anthony Williams' podcast about protein, The Truth About Protein. I recommend listening to all of his information because he has nuggets of gold and wisdom. There's this worldview, missing pieces that you're missing that you don't understand about health and diet. How to make your teeth healthy, how to make your skin healthy, how to make your hair healthy, your energy levels, how to make your stomach healthy, your liver healthy. Sorry, I'm breathing in this like horrible gas. Not breathing in this stuff, so I gotta get going. Do the reading for yourself, check it out. Don't demonize me as being someone who's ideological. Actually, I present to you the possibility that actually you're ideological, and actually I'm the one that's open-minded, and actually I'm the one that's willing to study and do my due diligence and do my research and actually check and be open-minded. And just, what if it's true? That's the only thing. What if it's true? And based on my testing, based on the thousands of people who've been doing this diet, based on the results I've seen in my own life, it is obviously true, not even close. Just based on the way I feel great all day. And I know there's a lot of people who eat only steaks all day that say they feel great. Meanwhile, they have bags under their eyes and their skin is pale and their teeth are rotting. I feel great. No, you don't. You feel like shit. Wait another year on only steaks and let me know how you feel after depriving your body of the food that your ancestors have been eating for millions of years. Let me know how that goes. You say, "Oh, Adam, my ancestors ate meat." No, actually, your ancestors don't have claws and fangs. They literally had to invent tools just to be able to kill the animal. Then they had to figure out how to cook it and so forth. So there's a lot of steps in order to eat meat. There's no steps at all to eat an apple. You reach out, you pick it, you bite it and chew it, and it works, and you're great, you feel good, and you have energy for the rest of the day, the rest of your life. You feel amazing, you're healthy and strong, all right? That's what I want for you here on this channel. I hope you enjoyed this video. Diet is an extremely important part of self-actualization and actualizing your full potential in the world. If you don't feel good, if your body is not digesting food properly, if you're not filled with vitamins and minerals from healthy foods, you can't live your best life. You can't make amazing art that helps people and inspires people. You can't be your authentic self, because your authentic self is just going to want to like watch TV all day because your stomach is full of eggs and meat and you have no sugar and you're just heavy and lethargic and dense. All right? You don't want to be dense. You want to be light. You want to be alive. You want to feel alive. You want to feel energized. You want to feel clean and clear and pure. This is what this diet does for you. This is something that is a big part of my new coaching program called the Crystal Clear Purpose Program. That's a comprehensive coaching program that shows you how to get clear about who you are as a person, what kind of natural strengths and gifts you have as an individual based on your personality type and based on your passions and your excitements, and then how to actualize those gifts in the world in an authentic, spontaneous way that supports you financially, energetically, relationally, and so forth. So this is a brand new thing I'm really excited about. Click below to check that out. You can join right now and we can get started. And otherwise, subscribe for more videos like this. I will see you in the next one.